So, Stephen, tell me about this Tinder for Nazis, which is an incredible headline, of course, caught my eye. Seriously, it is Tinder for Nazis?
Oh, that's what it was dubbed by one of the journalists who was looking into this, who helped expose this. This was from a hacktivist, as I think what they're called in Germany, who was able to access this site called White Date. Um, and White Date is a like a Tinder. It really is just Tinder for people who want to meet other people, white supremacists who want to meet other European supremacists.
Right.
So she also managed to. She didn't even need to hack it. That's the funny thing. She actually says so. This woman who called herself, I think it's a woman, calls herself Martha Root.
So she kind of is an anonymous sort of a hacker, and she went in and she came back with her investigations and published it somewhere, or what?
Well, she live streamed it. She did this all on it was like a left-wing tech conference, I think, in Germany. And she took to the stage dressed as a pink Power Ranger with the full pink motorcycle helmet, if you know what the Power Rangers
I do.
like. And in front of this crowd, she basically wiped out the three. There was three sites. White Date, which was the one where I focused on. White Child, which was a sperm and egg donation service for white supremacists who wanted to, make sure that Europe stayed white.
Right.
Through that means. And then White Deal, which was like a business, I suppose like a LinkedIn for if you want to compare it to something where they could stay in contact and give each other jobs and such.
So bizarre.
So she went on stage and she basically said, "Look, I didn't even need to hack this." Her quote was that their security was so bad it would make your grandma's AOL account blush. There was no security. They basically didn't even need to hack it. All she did was put in something up in the URL domain, and all the information for the entire site came out. So basically, she then wiped it clean while live on stage.
So got rid of all their profiles. You mean sort of they just wiped it, got rid of?
No, she went into them and then she was able to download all the information. But I think it was 100 gigabytes of information. It was which amounted to 8,000 profiles across Europe and mainly all Europe and North America. Then she posted them.
So it's where you come in, because you had a look to see was there many of these people on this Tinder for Racist sites from Ireland or for Nazis, and you discovered that indeed there were?
Well, thanks to Martha, whoever Martha is, she very generously posted basically a map location, because on the profile you had to say where you were from. So she basically very simple, data that would show where each profile was based. So there was a little icon you could go in. She put a map up on another site. You could then go in and focus in on each. Now there wasn't. I'm quite glad to say there wasn't like there was thousands or even hundreds of people in Ireland. I think there was about between 40 and 50 from what I could see, and I managed to get as many as I could. I think a lot of them managed to get it taken down. She offered a deletion service, which if they contacted them through GDPR, she would remove that information. So about 2 days after I initially found out, because it was a friend of mine who works for computers had sent me the link, although I'd never heard about it. All the ones in Ireland had been removed, so you wouldn't have known.
So what did you find when you went on? Was there, a percentage of men, women, or were they kind of open profiles? Were they actual pictures of actual people?
No, there was no. From what I could see, there were no nobody posted any photographs. Now I know in other parts of Europe and the UK, they did post photographs of themselves, but it was very basic. They basically asked what it was, a name, how old you were, what you were looking for, why you were on this particular site, and bizarrely, whether you wanted kids, whether you were married, whether you wanted to have kids or get married, and finally the last one, which really weird, they IQ'd themselves. They give themselves IQ tests and posted, 185, 100, and I think some of them might be slightly questionable, but
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, we all might all go up a few figures in that if we do that to ourselves. So, what kind of things were they saying about themselves? What were they looking for? And how do they describe themselves?
It was almost exclusively male. I only find two females in Ireland. One in Moy, County Tyrone, and another one in Dublin, I think.
Right. Well, they had probably dated all 45 men then.
I'm not sure how many of these actually. I mean, the profiles are just very sad. Like I say, mostly, like I said, 95% men. And one of them, I mean, I had to say, one of them was a 62-year-old man who was offering to basically come out of retirement and populate the island with what prepared to have relationships with women to populate the island with white people, just to do his bit for the country, you know.
Okay.
So very decent fella, you know, doing his bit for Ireland.
Indeed, God loves a trier. So, what were these men, and kind of, you know, what had they to say about themselves? Like, were they deeply rooted into this idea of this white supremacy in their actual profiles?
Yes, I mean, I think my favorite one was the man who said he was looking for a woman, looking for a lady, one with manners, grace, style, and intelligence. Sounds all right. It's all right. Nothing wrong with that.
No,
Nothing
wrong with it.
Say a lady who has never been soiled by another race, by other races, and maintained her purity in that regard.
My goodness.
Age does not matter to him, which that's great.
Yeah.
But part of the reason why I am on here is to find a bride willing to have children in order to stop the destruction of our people. So,
Jesus. Right. Okay.
and that was pretty much the theme. There was a lot of talk of men talking about being red pilled, which I hadn't heard that term, and I had to look it up. And red pilled is a reference to the Matrix movie, if you remember, when Keanu Reeves has a choice of, I think it's the red or blue pill, and he takes the red pill because he's going to take a journey and be shown how the world really is.
Right.
So these guys get red pilled. Some of them say they were red pilled by listening to Aryan music, or they name some white supremacist who's got a YouTube channel, and they watch them, and they were red pilled when they saw that. And now they see how the world order really is.
Right.
So there's lots of that. There's just a lot of sad men, really, I think.
And what did the two women, because they had a good chance of finding a date, the two women out of the 45, hadn't they, really, in fairness?
Well, yeah.
You were a man and you were swiping whichever way you swiped to get rid of them.
It might be interesting to see if they got as much. I mean, there was a 56-year-old woman from Moy who joined in August 2020, so she'd been on it a right few years. And she just said she joined to learn more about the internet and the white single community in my area. So it was her first foray into racially motivated dating sites, you know. And I'm trying to think who the other. I don't have access to the other. There was another man who was very funny, and I'm trying to find his profile. There was so many of them, and I'm trying to copy them all down. But just a lot of very, very sad.
Yes,
very sad people, really.
So as soon as this kind of got blown as such, they all started pulling down their profiles.
Yes, like I say, this Martha Root character had offered, I think, a deletion service for. She didn't want you. I'm not sure, because she was able to download it. It wasn't a hack. I don't think it was legal what she did. Certainly that side of it. So these things were publicly available. Anybody could have done this if they wanted to, because the security was super. So she offered that, if you come to me, and I'll basically have a deletion service. So these people then very quickly, as you would imagine, very quickly removed them, you know.
And did you find out, or did she find out, was this service, was it paid for? Did the people who had profiles have to kind of finance them in some way, monthly, or?
It wasn't made clear, but I assume she was making some kind of money. This is a woman that whoever ran the site was based in Germany, was a far right activist based in Germany, and they were actually quoted. They basically said, she's basically, this is cyber terrorism, is how they described. They confirmed after this live stream of the site being just basically effectively wiped out. Whoever runs the company had put out a statement on their Twitter account, or X account, and said that this is cyber terrorism, and there will be repercussions for those behind this. And yes, we confirm we have been basically effectively wiped out. So
they were human beings behind it and kind of coming forward. They didn't feel at risk of any criminal prosecutions, which sounds bizarre in Germany in particular, that there may not be criminal offences around this.
Yeah, no, like I said, I think because the security was so bad, there was no hacking. It was just they put this. I don't understand the technology of it all, but
Well, nor do I.
basically
Yeah.
she basically put something into the URL domain, and it downloaded. It was sort of anybody could have done if they'd had the technological know-how, just knowing that fact. So it was very, very poor. I think she was making a fun saying, before you want to be the master race, perhaps master of cybersecurity.
I like her style. Yeah, no, she's quite good on that point. We'll leave that. Thanks very much, Stephen.